Okay, so these are instructions for how to complete the working recipe benchmark. So if you are not, or if you're completing this on a different day, you need to be on October 8th's agenda to have all the links to finish this. So the first thing you're going to do is open this unit of measurement in cooking. These are the measurements that you are going to be using today for your recipe. The next thing you need to do is open the Scrambled Recipes and make a copy of working recipe. So for these recipes, you are, if you're in my first bell, third bell, fifth bell, or sixth bell, you're picking a Cincinnati recipe. So any of these 8 recipes here, you're going to pick to focus on. If you're in my 7th bell, which is my AGS class, you are picking one of these 8 global recipes to focus on. Okay, so once you have selected your recipe, you are clicking on this make a copy of the working recipe, which I already did. You'll click make a copy. I don't need to because I already have my copy. And then you're going to put that document either in your Algebra 1 folder that's already shared with me, or you're going to share it with me like this. Either one is fine. And click send. Okay. So now that you have this open and you've shared it with me, you are going to copy and paste your chosen recipe below. So whatever recipe you picked, say you chose to do a Buckeye Sundae from Grater's, you are pasting below. Okay, now that we have that done, you're going to decide what unit of measure makes sense for each of the ingredients, ignoring the numbers on the side. So in my scrambled recipe example, I have pancakes and syrup. So instead of, my recipe gave me 700 milliliters of pancake mix. A measurement that makes sense to me is ounces, because usually when you buy a pancake mix, it gives you the ounces in the mix. So a measurement that makes sense to me is ounces. All I'm doing right now, the only thing that you're doing is picking a unit of measure that makes sense, okay? So this 700 milliliters, I'm ignoring the 700 and I'm just focusing on what unit of measure makes sense. Later, we're going to be converting milliliters to ounces, but for right now, I'm just focusing on the ounces. Same thing down here. Instead of having 27 tablespoons of water, a tablespoon's like this big. I don't want to have to count out 27 tablespoons. So I'm going to pick a measurement that's bigger, which would be cups. That's all that I'm typing. Measurement that makes sense is cups. I'll convert 27 tablespoons to cups later, but right now I'm just ignoring the 27 and I'm focusing on the measurement I'm going to use, which is cups. Down here, I have 24 cubic centimeters of syrup. We don't really measure anything in cubic centimeters. You've never heard somebody say, put 1 cubic centimeter of spice into this recipe. We don't measure like that. Cubic centimeters is telling me that it's volume, but I'm not going to measure with cubic centimeters. Instead, I'm going to do something that makes sense, and to me, that's tablespoons. I'm going to worry about converting 24 cubic centimeters to tablespoons later. Today, all I'm focusing on is how I'm going to measure the syrup, and that's going to be in tablespoons. So you're going to do the same thing for your recipe down here. So you might type measurement and then whatever you're using. And again, the only units that you're going to be focusing on are the ones that are in this units of cooking measurement document. Okay, so these are the only units you're going to choose from for your recipe. Once you are done with that, you are submitting to Echo here by uploading it to the Dropbox.